Welcome back. Tonight, a Byron woman turning her grief into action. 1 year ago, Sammy Jackson was murdered while he was driving for Uber. Now, his wife is pushing lawmakers to increase safety protections for drivers. For her, this isn't just about changing the law. As Carmen Brown explains, it's also about honoring Sammy Jackson's memory with action and remembering him as more than a number.
Jill Jackson walks past her husband's picture every day and says home hasn't felt like home since last January.
He was, maybe a couple years from retirement and enjoying the fruits of his labor. And for his life to be taken like this, it is very tragic and it's very hard.
Sammy Jackson was a husband, a father, a coach who spent years on the basketball court at schools like Savannah State and Fort Valley State University. But it wasn't the wins that defined him. His wife, Jill, says it was his mentorship, the kind that carried far beyond the court.
For him, he was the GOAT as a father and as a grandfather. He embraced our entire family.
In January 2025, Sammy Jackson was reported missing while driving for Uber. 3 days later, police found his body in Atlanta, his car in Warner Robins. Investigators say a passenger kidnapped him and killed him.
That was probably one of the most horrible things to think about, was that, not only that he was killed, but that, his body laid out there for 3 days before we could find him.
His wife says his vigil brought people from everywhere.
I knew who my husband was, but I did not know that he was a rock star to other people.
Jill Jackson is now asking lawmakers for something concrete: background checks for rideshare passengers and hidden panic buttons for drivers.
I feel like if he had a way to say that he was in distress, he would be here today as well. So these are not just numbers, these are people.
All while making sure her husband's memory never fades. Reporting in Byron, Carmen Brown, 13 WMAZ News.
The suspect, Iquane Brown, is being held without bail in Fulton County. No trial date has been set. Our More Than a Number series gives a face to the victim and a voice to the family. We share these stories when families are ready to help honor a loved one. If someone you know has been the victim of a homicide or tragedy, you can add their information to our family form, which you'll find on 13WMAZ.com. You can also text the word MORE to 478-752-1309, and we can send a resource guide to your phone.